We talk about of equality today, and you did 3 series with Shonda Rhimes, and I think she's an example for most women in the showbiz. Since you did Private Practice and Grey's Anatomy, and now this big role for 6 seasons of this show, Scandal. Can you tell me something about how do you work there? What's her secret to
Oh
create?
my goodness. I mean, I think if any of us could discern Shonda's secret, we'd all be better people. I feel like she really just has a once-in-a-generation gift. She truly just knows people, and she knows story, and she has such an honest sense about where to follow her instincts. She also is so hardworking. Her last edit is, her last draft is the last edit. She's in the editing room. Sometimes entire storylines get removed. Sometimes they show up, 3 episodes later. Sometimes people live who died. Sometimes the opposite happens. I mean, she really just doesn't stop. There have been so many jobs where I felt like, as a guest star, that they're like, it's fine. It's kind of the next shot. That's never the case with Shonda. You can get a rewrite at rehearsal. She just keeps looking for the truth, and I think that sort of commitment is what comes across as really resonating with people. That depth of soul.
Sure it is. And let's talk about your character. In the last season, you were running for president for the Republican Party.
Yes.
And I know you can tell us, of course, if you won the election or not, but has it helped you to were you already interested in politics? On this series helped you in getting in the mechanism of this strange world and terrible world, in a sense?
Yeah, I've always felt like democracy was an honor and something you had to show up for. So I've always paid attention and been involved, phone banking or canvassing, on a smaller level since I was of voting age. But it certainly dialed me in more to be, we're in and out of DC a lot, and just to be in this role. There was a lot of research because, we're taught the history of our presidents in our country, but we're not taught the history of the First Lady. That's not something that's included in our curriculums. So there was a lot of due diligence in that regard that was incredibly eye-opening and informative and inspiring and frustrating. And but that was fun. I got to go out on the campaign trail for Hillary Clinton this year. I did 8 states for the Clinton campaign, and such an honor and so educational, but also made me realize that I am just an actor, and beautiful words get put in my mouth, and if I mess them up, we do it again, and it's okay. And those guys are out there flying blind with Twitter. The world changes in an instant, and their whole histories are with them in every moment, and it's such an incredibly vulnerable state to live in, and very stressful, that I am just happy that I go to work and then I punch my little time card and then I punch it and I go home, and that someone else is in charge of the big decisions.
And were you disappointed and scared, like we all are, by Trump's victory? Because Hollywood underestimated him, maybe, I thought. Because everyone say, no, it's not possible, it's not going to win, and then media are everything today. So
it's so interesting. I feel like that's happened all over the world this year. It's been a very eye-opening year. I have to believe, I'm just an eternal optimist, so I have to believe that everything will eventually be fine. I know that it makes me a more conscious citizen, because some things that I've taken for granted up until now cannot be taken for granted, and so I got to raise my voice. We all do. We have to be a part of our democracy and really protect those that might now be vulnerable. But I think as a world, we all get to show up and decide who we want to be, and it's a real crossroads. But that means it's an incredible opportunity.
Also, and your character went through a lot in the past season. You lost a child, you were abused. Were there the most difficult challenges for you, these ones, or there were more for your character?
I know it seems crazy to say, but I love them all. These scripts, they come and they're so beautiful, and especially as a woman in her 40s, if I got one of these and I got to do it in New York for 3 years, I think I was the luckiest person and won the lottery. But that they come at me every 8 days is a breathtaking grace. And you sort of get to a point, especially when you trust people, like you trust our whole, like the writers, our producers, everyone, but certainly the cast. You get to a point where you sort of hope for catastrophe in the storylines, because it just pushes you a little further, and you have to like open up a little bit more and really like live in someone else's eyes and go through something. So that Melly has gotten, especially because she just started with 2 lines and was supposed to be there for 3 episodes, that Melly has gotten to go on the ride that she's gone on is almost overwhelming to me, the blessing. So I loved, it's crazy to say, I loved every minute. I loved Smelly Melly. I loved, like, you know, Candidate Melly. I loved Divorce Melly. I love, you know, dead son Melly. I loved, can't say I loved the rape, but I really loved every opportunity.
Thank you. And just one last question, one curiosity.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about your singing career? I saw that you made a CD of cover.
Thanks, Daniela.
That was always with you, this gift, this joy of singing, or?
You know, singing is how I started. I was adopted, and we got some misinformation that my biological mother was a singer. Turns out it's not true. But so my mom, who raised me, tried to afford me every opportunity to develop that talent. And singing is my deepest solace. It is my true love. And I sang the national anthem at a Dodgers game one year, and some of the fans were like, "You should make an album." And I thought, I will never have this chance again. I really should. And so I made an album called Far Away, So Close. And it's covers, but it's just stories that meant the world to me. And thank you for asking about it. I've been a bad mother. I haven't promoted it as well as I should have, but I'm really proud of it.